Morning to my chiropractic community out there. Hopefully you guys are doing great. Tell you, we're in Cicero, New York here, and anyone that's in Central New York can certainly appreciate the fact that we rarely have sunshine or nice weather. So to drive in this morning at 5 o'clock a.m. To work out was great. I wanted to share a real quick story with you first, and it was about a guy I went to chiropractic school with, and he became a very close friend of mine while we were in school, and we were so excited and so passionate to get out of college and be chiropractors and change the world. You know, we couldn't wait to hang a shingle, we couldn't wait to open an office, and couldn't wait to start seeing people, taking care of people, and not deal with all the bureaucracy that we had to in clinic, you know, and you understand that later on, but you know, at the time you didn't really understand why they had all those rules and regulations. But so you get out and and we were just thrilled, we were excited, and several years after school, he had quit being a chiropractor. He actually surrendered his license. He quit being a chiropractor, and even in a crazier notion, he went into pharmaceutical sales. And I still talk to him, and he's still a wonderful guy and a great guy and a great dad and a great person and a great father and husband and all those wonderful things that are really important. But you know, I asked him in those days, and when he made that decision, you know, why did you stop? And he said, you know, I lost my fire. I lost my passion. I lost the desire to be a chiropractor. I lost the story, if you will, that we talked about, and it just became something I didn't want to do. And so it was really sad, because he's such a great guy and such a great communicator, and I just think he's a great chiropractor. You know, to me, he'll always be a chiropractor. So when I think about that, you know, and I see what we're going through now, you know, so I'm a coach, I'm a practice performance coach, and I've been coaching in chiropassion for 10 years now, or going on 10 years. And I had a lot of calls yesterday with our docs. I've had more docs not in our program reach out to me than ever. And not that everyone, some guys are struggling, you know, some ladies out there are struggling. And sometimes it's not even struggling numbers-wise. I see some docs doing better and they're getting through it. But I also feel this feeling out there, you know, that kind of like, you know, using that word mojo, that everyone's kind of lost a little bit of that mojo. Everybody's lost a little bit of that sparkle, a little bit of that sizzle, a little bit of that, what I call today in our title, our fire, right? And it feels like, you know, everybody's dousing the fire, and, you know, the days where you could kind of talk about what chiropractic is and how great it is for you. You got regulating bodies, and this is all over the world, whether you're in Australia or the United Kingdom or in Europe, and in some areas here in the United States, you know, you're not allowed to talk about chiropractic and the immune system or how adjusting. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it really is gotten absurd. And you know, so how do you keep the fire going? How do you keep moving forward? So I study those guys. I study guys like Alexander the Great, and I study people like Mother Teresa and Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and Muhammad Gandhi. And, you know, you start studying these people, and you're like, wow, you know, I'm over here talking about some of the challenges that I'm going through, and I start thinking about what they went through. Like, man, how difficult was it to be in the 1920s, and you're in India, and, you know, you have another government body in India as Gandhi, and, you know, you're basically just fighting for simple civil rights, or Martin Luther King, right? And you start thinking about that. And I like that, because it puts it into perspective. It puts it in the perspective that, wow, you know, what are we going through in relationship to them? And then what did they do? Where do you go, if you will, to fill your cup? Where do you go to get that fire burning hot? Where do you go to just get your mojo back? And I wanted to share with you guys, as our chiropractic community, to you all out there that are chiropractors, that maybe you're doing great, maybe you're not, maybe you know, numbers are good and people are coming back, but you just feel a little bit tired or fatigued. And I think we all do that. We're human, and especially with what's going on. So what can we do to create that sizzle? One of the things I do frequently is I look at cases, I pull a file, I open up a practice member's file, and I look at their x-rays, and I look at where they're subluxated, and I look at their therm scan, and I look at the health challenges they had, and I look at how sick and diseased these people are, and it just reminds me, you know, separate from all the news and separate from everything that's going on out there, it's just a reminder to me immediately in the morning that, wow, man, if it wasn't for chiropractic, if it wasn't for what we do, that person wouldn't even be getting care. That person would never get adjusted. And it's a reminder on a consistent basis. We had a woman this week on Monday, and she gave me a hug in the office, and she had tears in her eyes, and she said to me, you know, my God, I have been living like this for my whole life, and my mother told me to go see you for years and years because I take care of her mom, and I just didn't listen, and I finally, you know, decided, okay, I'll come in. And she goes, and I've only been under care for about 6 weeks, and literally it's changed my life. Literally it's changed my life. And the amount of just strain and stress and pain and discomfort and loss of health and the clarity of how I think and my sinuses and my digestion, and, you know, she just was going on and on about how it's just made a dramatic change. You know, so that one story, that one x-ray, that one file, when you read it, you're like, wow, you know what I do is significant. What I do is important. What I do is necessary. And just because nobody ever gets it, and nobody will ever get it, nobody will ever get it, but just because they don't get it doesn't mean that I can't get it. So I read over a case file, I read over an x-ray every day, multiple times a day, probably 5 or 6 times a day. The other thing I do, I have my green book. So I'm always going to read over something in a green book. I'm going to read a page of a green book. I'm going to read a few pages of a green book. I want to read the letters and the words that were so specific and deliberately intended and written down and set with manual type. Like, think about that, right? When D.D. Palmer was around, like, you know, they didn't have a word processor. They didn't have a computer, you know, the word wasn't around, you know. Keynote wasn't around to do presentations, you know what I mean? So Dee would do write things by hand, probably by candlelight most of the time, right? And then he would, you know, bring it to somebody or themselves, and they would set type manually to print out books. And what BJ did, and, you know, so it reminds me of the meaning behind what they did for us and what they did for chiropractic and what they did for humanity. So that inspires me. That gets me fired up. Like, wow, look what these guys went through. You know, one of the stories I often share is with D.D. Palmer. Like, when he opened up his first office in the Ryan building, you know, like, he didn't have a car. He had 2 ponies, horses, and they were called Nip and Tuck. So think about that. In order to go to work, like, I can hit my remote starter in the winter, double click it. I got a heated steering wheel. I got a heated seat. You know, I've got a beautiful pickup truck. It's just gorgeous, you know, and I drive to work. And he had to go out in the barn and get his horses and put them on the buggy, and then, you know, make sure they're fed and straw and water, manually pumping, you know, and then drive to the Ryan building. And then, you know, he's putting coal and wood in his furnace or stove, and to try to heat up the building so that he could get going and start seeing patients that morning. Like, if you just think about that, you know, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it really is amazing when you think about what they were doing, and then we think about where we're at. So that inspires me. Like, wow, look at these guys had it so much harder than I did, and they overcame so much more than I have to, and that fires me up. You know, I like to read over testimonials. I also like to read over files of people who discontinued care. You know, we're really good at what we do. We love what we do, but hey, listen, people leave my office too at times, and I want to read their files, and I want to read their story, and I want to review that with my staff, and I want to say, hey, you know, maybe Bob is never going to come back, but boy, what could I have done better? What could I have done more? Look at his spine. Look at his nervous system. Look at his overall health. You know, where did we drop the ball? Where did things maybe not go as well as they could have or should have? You know, where in our procedures, our communication, our front desk issues, what could we have done better as a team in order? And that just reminds me that, hey, listen, I got to stay on track. And I played a lot of sports when I was growing up, and I don't walk too good now because of it, but You know, when I played football, like, you know, even in the wins you learn. You know, you learn more in the, in the loss, but what could I have done better on Sunday? You know, what could I have done better on the field? What play did I miss? What tackle did I miss? What didn't I understand in their offensive formation? You know, what could I have done better than I did on Sunday? So next week I'm better. And that inspires me, that never-ending desire to be better, but it all comes from that fire. Like, where do I get that fire from? So reading over our history, reading over the green books, looking at x-rays, looking at patients' files on a consistent basis, it has a huge impact on me and starting the day and doing a great job to try to help other people. And it makes an impact for me to touch everybody. I mean, everybody that comes to my office, you know, I think sometimes we forget because we do it so much. Like, everybody that comes in your office, you got to love them and you got to take care of them, and because they don't know any better. I know better than they do when it comes to taking care of their health, right? So, you know, I have to be realizing that, wow, what a huge responsibility that is when somebody comes in and says, hey, I'm here to get an adjustment, or I'm here because I don't feel good, or things aren't going so great. You know, that is a huge responsibility they're giving you, and that fires me up. That reminds me, it's a reminder every day that, wow, these people are looking at me as a professional and somebody who cares and loves them, and they want to know that their interests are ahead of your own. They want to know that, hey, what I'm doing has their interests at heart, it has their safety at heart, it has their future health at heart. You know, that's always what I'm thinking. And then talking to other chiropractors, you know, being around other docs that want to make an impact. My dad always told me, I don't know that it was his line per se, but my dad always told me, you know, you become who you hang out with. And he used to word it this way, like, who's sitting on your porch? He used to ask me that. He used to say, Joe, who's sitting on your porch? You know, if I was hanging out with some buddies of mine and maybe staying out late and partying a little bit and I wasn't being productive and I wasn't getting things done, my dad would just look at me like, who's sitting on your porch? You know, who's sitting on your porch? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with people that pull you, that inspire you, that you could sit down with, you could be honest, they could be your friend, but you can also say, man, you know, I want to do a better job today. What are you doing? What are you doing over there? And you're around other people that fire you up. You're around other people that inspire you. You're around other people that are doing things bigger and better, and or maybe not, but they have a bigger vision than you do, you know? That has a huge impact. And lastly, I read over my journal. I write down what my life goal is. I write down what my mission is, my purpose is as a human being, as running a practice, as a chiropractor, as a doctor to help people. I read that over on a regular basis, you know, every day. Sometimes we all have those tough days. Sometimes we're reading it over 3 or 4 times that day, right? But by doing it on a regular basis, it's a reminder to me every day, hey, I got a vision here. It's not about, you know, entering something in the computer and getting that paperwork and that Post-it note. Those are things that need to be done, but that isn't my mission. That isn't my purpose. You know, my purpose is to make sure every man, woman, and child is under chiropractic care, because with a healthier spine, their life's going to be better, right? That is my goal as a chiropractor. That is my job. And I know with the new research and the new science, how your nervous system and your brain and your whole body is going to be better, and how you think is going to be better when your nervous system's healthier. And it makes sense, but it's a good reminder to see that science and get you fired up. And those are the things I do to fire up my fire. That's what I do to get me engaged. That's what I do every day to get ready, to get back out. And I want to do a better job today than yesterday. I always want to do a better job today than yesterday. Do I do that all the time? No. Is every day always better than yesterday? No. But I certainly start the day trying to make it better than yesterday. If I do that sincerely and consistently, boy, I'll tell you, the days do get better. And you do have a bigger impact, and you feel better, and you feel progress. You feel progress, and then you get fired up, and you get excited, you know, and your days are better. Listen, guys, I got a link above, and we would love to have you part of a group. So most of everyone, I got 5,000 friends on our Facebook page, and I think 95% of them are chiropractors. So I reach out to the chiropractic community. If you like what we're sharing here, share it. By all means, like the video. I also would encourage you to check us out on our website, chiropassionconsulting.com. And we've got a phenomenal group of docs that are fired up and excited. And again, they try to be the best version of their former selves every single day. And they try to make a big impact out there. And we look at our practice, we look at our mindset, and it always goes back to my dad, you know, who's sitting on your porch. So if you want to surround yourself with some chiropractors, some docs that are really focused on making every day better, making the practice better, serving more people, lowering your overhead, improving your communication skills, start taking care of people in your practice that you really love and that love what you do, you know, creating that community in your practice. Boy, I think you'd be well served to check us out here at chiropassionconsulting.com. So big, huge love and embrace to all you guys out in my chiropractic community. Have a great day serving. May your innate always flow from above, down, inside out. I'll talk to you guys next week.